So what company certifies the Cyclops to?
Nobody.
Nobody. They don't have anyone.
He does not.
Because it doesn't conform. It doesn't conform to any standard.
Because it's a risky job. Even when you're going in something that's classed, to go in something that's not classed, at times it can be verging on the ridiculous. It's just diabolical. It really is diabolical. Just trying to think what else.
Well, all right. How about some background? How about some background information? When did you start working for the company?
So I started working for the company the end of, and I was employed as a director of marine operations. So basically, I was in charge of all submersible operations, pretty much, basically everything. When the sub's in the water, it was me. Bar one dive in the last 2.5 years, I've been in the sub. So basically all the safety of the crew, paying passengers, because people are willing to pay lots of money to go in these things. It's basically down to me. So I was responsible for all the maintenance, I was responsible for all the training for the training pilots, and all the upkeep for the submersible itself.
All right.
Sorry, when you go.
Were there other submersibles that were being used, or has this been all about design at this point?
No, negative. So OceanGate own 2 other submersibles. They own Antipodes, which is it's an older vehicle. That vehicle, when they purchased it 9 years ago, long before my time, it was classed by ABS, the American Bureau of Shipping. And what's happened is the company has agreed to keep classing that. To keep classing a vehicle, you need to do test dives with the engineers. You need to basically strip the vehicle down every year, few ports off. They got everything, and they verify that every system on there is tight and above board. They do pressure testing. They witness and make sure all the cylinders are okay.
And what? I'm sorry, I didn't catch the name of the agency that certifies it. What did you say it was?
So for Antipodes, it's a company called ABS, the American Bureau of Shipping.
Okay.
And they have offices here in Seattle and down in Portland. They are two main people.
All right. And is this the same company that certifies the Cyclops that we're talking about? No.
So Cyclops, there is Cyclops 1, which is the other submersible. So they've got Antipodes, which is the older one, which is classed. They've got Cyclops, which is another vehicle, which is the one that basically the hull is verified through GL. It's good to 500 meters. So other than that, because they were basing that as a prototype vehicle, nothing else was classed on it. So that was an operational sub, which is based in Everett, down on the barge. So that's another one that's there.
That's Cyclops 1.
That's Cyclops 1. And then Cyclops 2 is the one that I've got all these issues with.
Right.
And basically now what's happened is, even since I've left, it's all over Facebook and Twitter, they've basically put the thing down on the dive barge, and they are literally ready to start trials on this thing. In the coming weeks.
All right. So what company certifies the Cyclops to? Nobody. They don't have anyone.
He does not.
Because it doesn't conform. It doesn't conform to any standard.
He does not. No, not at all. None of it. He does not want to. He made me reach out to. I've got a lot of good contacts because of my work in the UK, Singapore, Australia. I've worked all over the world doing this. And I've made a lot of good relationships with these classification agencies, and I like things to be above board and as safe as possible, because it's a risky job. Even when you're going in something that's classed, to go in something that's not classed, at times it could be verging on the ridiculous, and people will call it cowboy, they'll call it rogue, call it what they want. And basically, I kept pestering the owner towards the end of last year. I said, look, you need to try and at least get some of the stuff classed by Lloyd's of London. They may be willing to do it. So I reached out to Lloyd's. They said there would be methods that they could individually test the life support system, the high-pressure air system. They could look at the hull, but because they weren't going to be part of the design, they couldn't verify that the hull was actually intact. So, but then what happened was the owner turned around just after Christmas and said, no, don't bother following up anymore with Lloyd's. We're not classing anything. So it's not going to be classed, it's not going to be insured.
Okay. All right. Okay. And so I noticed the date on this document you have is January 18th, and I think you were terminated, the very next day?
Correct, yes.
Yeah.
I was.
Okay.
The 19th.
All right. So, okay. All right. Okay.
One of the other things, and you'll see it in my report, it's the issues with the material they're actually using for the flooring inside the cabin of Cyclops 2. It's made of a product called HDPE, high density polyethylene, which is a very flammable material. I did ask them, look, have you carried out tests on this? And I kept asking for the MSDS sheets, all the data sheets on it. Once again, I was refused. So I did my own homework, and I turned around and I said to them, look, we need to do a fire test on this to actually make sure that this isn't super flammable. Everything's flammable at the end of the day, but this flooring sits on top. And what's right next to that? The batteries. So basically you've got a fire triangle under your backside. Okay? Now, I took a sample of it out, which you can see from the photographs. I lit that, took the flame away. It was just a lighter, took the flame away, and it just continued to burn. It dripped on the asphalt, and it reignited. So that material, and it's highly toxic as well, the fumes that were coming off it, you can see that in my report, and I did take video of it as well.
And the flooring, what was that called again? H what?
It's a HDPE. You'll see it in my report. It's high density polyethylene. It's like a plastic material. It's a very heavy plastic, very durable. Do you know what they use it for? Chopping boards in kitchens for chopping up your food.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. All right. I think
there was so much more that I've not detailed in my report because I would have deemed it too personal because of the owner's, I would say, blasé attitude. But basically, the venting system on that thing, he has actually got, and it's on there. And I would love somebody else to look at it. He's got a shop vac hose on there, and that's the ballast system. He intends to run a vent, which is run by an automatic fishing reel winder immersed in oil outside the sub, and this thing is going to wind. You imagine little pulley arms either side of the submarine moving this shop vac hose up and down. That is his ballast system for this sub, which is a no-no. And I didn't want to put it in my report because he came up with this idea, and I said to him, it's not going to work. And verbally, he went off on one, but I wasn't the only one that voiced the concern with it. But it's just diabolical, it really is diabolical.
Okay, I think I've got everything I need right now. Okay. I'll turn the recorder off, but I want you to stay on the line,
sure.
Okay?
Yeah, no problem.
All right, this concludes my intake interview with David Lochridge. Today is February 8th, 2018. Time is 11:30 a.m.